Hey everyone, my name's Brian Alvarado, and I'm happy to talk about this uh, essay I just wrote in communication and the analysis of a movie called Oppenheimer and how the concepts of self worth, interpersonal conflict, and microcultures could be seen in the film. Uh, Full disclosure, prior to this class, I didn't have the motivation to watch this movie. It's 3 hours long. It's really wordy. Um, it's not, you know, an action packed thing. However, once I was able to narrow down these concepts in communication, I was able to really parse it out and figure out what was interesting to me. And so I came across various studies. One of them was called Self Worth in Politics, and it talked about how self esteem and narcissism can impact an individual as far as whether or not they'll be a good political leader. And in that study, they found that people who overall wanted to help others would in fact be a better leader than someone who is narcissistic, maybe just wanting to help themselves. And you'll see if you watch the movie that Oppenheimer really battled with this morality issue in developing the bomb and the subsequent bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the overall effect that had on the world stage. And at first, he kind of talks about his self image as being one of an inept student, I think is how he put it. Someone who struggles with like anxiety, depression, things that affect you and me. And I liked that because it kind of humanized this person who has become larger than life in many ways. But he was able to reconcile that with his present sense of self worth, which was high, and his ideal self, which was high, and that balanced out that low self image and really brought together that self concept that carried him through those times. And he found that he believed he did it for the right reasons because it did save lives. Whether or not I believe that or you believe that is up for discussion. But as far as he was concerned, it was the right thing to do. And it's hard to put yourself in those shoes. I could only imagine what that would be like to be around in the 1940s and, you know, dealing with that level of conflict and war. I don't want to be there. And I'm very happy that it was someone who wanted to help others who was put at the helm of the important projects that developed the nuclear weapon, called the Manhattan Project, by the way. Another interesting topic that came up was interpersonal conflict. And, what that's all about is ways to manage conflict and mitigate it, really, and maintain beneficial relationships. You'll see in the movie that it was very hard to do. And the reason for that is because the Manhattan Project was basically compartmentalized in a way that just wasn't conducive to having frank, open discussions. And I found actually in a journal of applied sports psychology, I believe that's the one, that they too found that environments that were safe and open for discussion about disagreements oftentimes were the strongest in terms of mitigating conflict. You'll see in the movie, though, that this was not always the case and that it wasn't okay to just say what you wanted to say. There was a war going on, there was a lot of disagreements. And that also kind of led me into the next portion of this discussion, which was the formation of microcultures and how they have distinct social dynamics and how those dynamics affect the individual within that group. I came across some interesting information, in particular, one study about the effects of punishment in a laboratory. And basically, what it found is that the power structures inside of a microculture have significant influence on an individual's behavior. And in the case of Oppenheimer, like we were saying, because of those strict communication protocols and the power structure, mitigating conflict was very difficult, and the microculture within might not have worked. However, because of the overall goal of the project and the ambition of everyone to do this thing for the better cause, the group was able to perform at a level that outpaced our adversaries. So, in the end, the microculture contributed to a positive attainment of that goal. So, overall, I was able to apply some of these concepts to the movie, and it was interesting and might be the last 3-hour movie that I watched for a very long time. But what I could take from that is that since it was based on a true story, you can kind of just go one step further, and you'll see that, beyond the drama of a movie, or the cinematics or whatever, that the concepts of self-worth, interpersonal conflict, and microcultures really are universal truths of communication. And that's what this course is all about, and I'm happy to have been here to learn something new and put that to work. I hope you all have a good day.